الطلبة الأعزاء، أسعد الله أوقاتكم بكل خير. Well, this is the lecture, I think number 5 or 6, I'm not sure. And in this lecture, inshallah, we will move to a new topic in the field of the law of the international organizations, which is the categories of the international organizations. Well, the international organizations has many types, and actually they are divided according to some criteria. So for example, organizations are classified according to their nature of the members into two kinds. We have governmental organizations, we have non-governmental organizations. Number two, according to their territorial scope, we have international organizations, universal international organizations, and we have regional organizations. And according to the jurisdictional scope, we have two types. We have public international organizations, and we have private or specialized international organizations. And according to the actors addressed, we have supranational or supranational organizations, and we have international within states or between states. So what I want to mean here is that we have many types of organizations, but their classification depends on the criteria we are looking for, or we are depending on. So if we are depending on the nature of the members of the organization, we would have, for example, the two kinds of organizations: the international governmental organizations, and we have the international non-governmental organizations. إذا المعيار الأول تقسيم المنظمات بحسب طبيعة الأفراد الداخلين في عضويتها، بحسب طبيعة الأعضاء اللي مكونين في تجمع إيراداتهم للمنظمة. في منظمات بنسميها حكومية، وفي منظمات دولية بنسميها منظمات دولية غير حكومية. فتعالوا نشوف what is the difference between them, and also let we give you some examples for each type of these organizations. Well, the international organizations, which is governmental ones, the members within this organization are only states. So when the organization includes not only actually but basically, when it basically includes states or member states, then it is a governmental one. And simply we are calling it, or we call it governmental, simply because the representation within these organizations is a governmental one. التمثيل أصلا داخل هذه المنظمات هو تمثيل حكومات لهذه الدول. فكل دولة بتمثل مثلا في الأمم المتحدة تكون الجهة التي تمثل في الأمم المتحدة هي ممثلة عن حكومة الدولة، وهذا موضوع هنتطرق له فيما بعد. Whether the representation in the United Nations is a representation of governments or is it a representation of population. هل هو تمثيل شعوب ولا تمثيل حكومات؟ وحنوصل لحقيقة إنه يعني away from the legal text or the United Nations Charter, it is a governmental representation. So this is why we call the organization here a governmental one, simply because it includes the governments of states or representatives for the governments of the member states. Okay, so this is about the international governmental organization. Or the non-international, or the international, sorry, non-governmental organization, it even includes individuals. يعني it doesn't only include states or organizations or whatsoever, it also includes the individuals. However, in the international governmental organizations, there is no way to accept the individuals as member states. So this is the main difference between the organizations which are governmental and the organization which are non-governmental ones. So the first difference is that it only includes a state. However, the other type, it even includes individuals. But it doesn't mean that it includes only individuals. It includes individual. It allows the accession of the individual to its membership. However, it includes people who are not individuals, like, for example, the states and the organizations and the companies, like legal persons or juristic persons. For example, the League of Arab States, عصبة أو جامعة الدول العربية, the African Union organization, or the United Nations, all of these organizations are of of a governmental character. So they are under the category which is the international governmental organization, simply because the membership is allowed only and opened only for the states or the governments. However, the international organization of the Red Cross, it is actually a non-governmental organization. هي عبارة عن منظمة غير حكومية حتى ولو تضمنت الأفراد. وعلى فكرة, the international governmental organizations like the United Nations, the League of Arab States, and the African Union, they all undergo the rules and provisions of the international law. However, the International Organization of the Red Cross, it doesn't go under the international law basically. So it doesn't undergo the international law at the first place. However, it's regulated by a national law. I mean, the Red Cross is regulated through a national law. Its name is the Swiss law. قانون السويسري هو اللي بيحكم عمل هاي المنظمة، في حين انه الامم المتحده يا جماعه وجامعه الدول العربيه ومنظمه الاتحاد الافريقي كلها تعتبر منظمات حكوميه خاضعه بالمقام الاول لاحكام القانون الدولي، مش للقوانين الوطنيه يعني. Okay, so this is regarding the first category of organizations. So according to the nature of the members, we have two different kinds. We have the governmental organizations, which include states and governments. The non-governmental organization, it includes even individuals. For example, the ICRC, or the International Organization for the Red Cross. It includes individuals, and it undergoes the Swiss law. Okay? No, this criteria is not accurate, and this is a note. Simply because the non-governmental organizations aren't considered organizations in the sense of the law of the organizations. يعني هي أصلا بسموها organization، لكن مش بمعنى organizations المدروسة بالlaw of organizations. And I told you this before, because it doesn't undergo the provisions of the international law at the first place. It undergoes the national law, I mean the Swiss law. Also, it is named international simply because it practices the deeds outside the one state territory. That's why it is called international. It is not named international because it is it undergoes the international law. It's named international because the scope where it uh, practices its deeds and activities is the international level or the international society. That's why. Okay. Now, the second criteria according to which we divide or we classify the international organization is the territorial scope. Like, what is the geographical scope that the international organization covers? ايش هو الحيز الجغرافي اللي بتملأه وبتغطيه الانترناشونال organization with its activities and its jurisdiction؟ ايش هو الاختصاص تبعها يعني، أو نطاق الاختصاص الجغرافي أو الإقليمي تبعها. Well, we have two different kinds. The first one is the universal organizations, and the second is the regional organizations. The universal organizations means it includes states which belong to different continents, for example, like states from Africa, and also when you look to the member states inside this organization, you will find that their number is a high number. So, for example, the United Nations is considered a universal organization simply because it practices activities all over the world, and it covers all the continents, and the members the number is a high one since it reaches 192, I think, member states. Okay. However, the regional organization, it includes states which belong to maybe or which share a certain bond. Like, for example, if they are from Africa, like the African Union, or because they share certain bond, like they are Arabian, so they are all Arabs. That's why the League of Arab States is considered a regional organization. So let's see what is the difference between them regarding their definition. Look, the Universal Organization simply it's open to all states. يعني العضوية متاحة لمن مكان. Everyone who desires to accede to the organization can do this, but he is required to accept the conditions of this accession. So when the membership is open to the all states in the world, then it is a universal organization. However, the regional organization is open to certain number of states, and they have to share, look here, a mutual link or bond. لازم يكون بتربطهم رابطة معينة. So what before illustrating what do we mean by the mutual link or the bond, let's give you example for the universal organization and the regional organization. Well, the universal organization like the UN and the FAO اللي هي Food and Agriculture Organization, منظمة الأغذية والزراعة. However, the regional organization like the African Union and the League of the Arab States. Okay, so these are examples. Now let's back to the definition here, or to the information shown here. Well, he says that the regional organizations is open or are open to certain number of states, so not all states, and they must share a mutual link or bond. So what do I mean by the mutual link or bond? Do you think that the mutual bond or link is the, for example, the geographical, for example, bond or link, like the states that we are talking about here, they must belong to one continent, for example, like the African Union. It is African Union and it is considered regional organization because the states here, they share a certain bond, which is the geographical bond, because all of the member states belong to the African continent. Do you think that what we mean by the mutual bond, link or bond, that they, these states must be from the same continent, for example? Or do you think it has another meaning like the mutual link? Well, let's see. What is the link? Yes, regional organizations are open to certain number of states that share mutual link or bond. So what is the link here? Okay, this is my question. Okay, some jurists now, say that link or the bond required for for the regional organizations is a geographical bond. Literally, the member states shall locate on the same region, like the African Union. And this actually was adopted by the Egyptian delegates during San Francisco conference, which resulted in the existence of the United Nations Charter. Well, when they were putting the United Nations Charter as universal organization, when you open the United Nations Charter, you will find some text within the United Nations Charter which talks about the right of the member states inside the United Nations to construct regional organizations. يعني النظام نفسه تبع الأمم المتحدة اتحدث في بعض النصوص عن إمكانية الدول إنه تنشئ ما بين بعض البعض تحالفات إقليمية أو منظمات يكون دورها إقليمي. يعني حتى الأمم المتحدة كمنظمة عالمية تكلمت عن إمكانية إنه الدول تنشئ منظمات إيه؟ منظمات بنسميها إقليمية. فلما اجوا يتحدث عن المنظمات الإقليمية قالوا لازم يكون عندها رابط معين بيجمعها. ايش رأيكم يا دول يا مشاركين في المؤتمر، ايش هذا الرابطة احنا بنقصد فيها قولتكم؟ فكان وجهة نظر الوفد المصري انه ما نقصده بالرابطة التي يجب ان تجمع بين الدول اللي لازم تكون عندها regional organization, they must share a geographical bond, which means that all the member states shall locate on the same territory or in the same, let me see, continent, for example, or the region. So they have to be adjacent to each other. لازم يكونوا مجاورين لبعضهم البعض. هاي كان وجهة نظر الجانب المصري. Okay? However, other jurists believe that this link may be in mutual interests. جانب آخر قال لا، مش ضروري يكون جغرافي، ممكن يكون بيجمعهم رابطة معينة، ممكن تكون رابطة ثقافية، cultural, ممكن تكون political, economical, or even military. That's why we consider that the League of Arab States is a regional organization, despite the fact that the member states they belong to different continents. So, for example, the League of Arab States it includes Egypt from Africa. Also, it includes Lebanon from Asia. So, different regions, however, they constitute regional organization. So, what do we mean by regional here or the organization? It doesn't mean regional territorial or they belong to the same region. It means that regional because they have certain bond, whatever the kind of the bond is, whether it is geographical one like the African Union, or even cultural, political, economical, or military one like the League of Arab Nations. So the territorial scope here refers to the number of the member states, not to the region to which they belong. يعني احنا لما سميناها منظمة إقليمية ما تفهمش من كلمة إقليمية انه يعني بنقصد فيها الاقليم نفسه، بنقصد فيها عدد الدول انه هو عدد قليل، وانه بيجمع بين الدول رابطه نوعها ممكن يكون سياسي، ممكن يكون اقتصادي، ممكن يكون عسكري، او ايا كان نوع هذا الرابط. طيب there was a question actually between jurism and the national law regarding this question. Do you think that the existence of, or do you support the idea of the region organizations, like its existence? Do you support the existence of it, or do you uh, find it against the unity of the international law? Do you support the existence or you are against the existence of the regional organizations? This is a question actually كنت حابب أشارككم إياه ويكون في نوع من النقاش بيننا، لكن أنتم شايفين التعليم كيف تعليم عن بعد، فبالتالي ما فيش حتى مجال لتبادل الآراء بخصوص هذا الموضوع. لذلك إن شاء الله راح أتركه للمحاضرة القادمة. وراح اترك لكم بعد بعد هذه المحاضرة راح تلاقوا في عندكم رابط. راح اترك لكم فيه فيديو صغير بيتكلم عن الاورجنايزيشنز والتايب اوف اورجنايزيشنز. بدي منكم تحاولوا تفهموا الفيديو، ومطلوب منكم بعد هيك ححط زي ديبيت، حفتح أيقونة للديبيت واكتب لكم ايش اللي فهمتوه من الفيديو، وكل واحد يحاول يعطيني خلاصة اللي فهمه داخل هذه الأيقونة اللي اسمها حيكون ديبيت تحت مباشرة المحاضرة هاي، ورابط الفيديو تبع اليوتيوب اللي هحط لكم إياه بعد هذه المحاضرة. فبتمنى من الجميع يشارك، لأنه هذه المشاركات أنا باخذها بعين الاعتبار. Well, we will discuss this question inshallah in the coming lecture. This is enough for today. Thank you very much, and I will see you inshallah in the coming lecture. Thank you again and good.